Well, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this lovely mid-November morning, bopping around about 45 degrees out Fahrenheit, but the sun is out, can't turn away. And this video is going to drop, I believe, the day before Thanksgiving. So I figured, what a good time to talk a little bit about what I'm thankful for. Thanksgiving isn't, a worldwide holiday. I'm not going to talk about the history of Thanksgiving. I'm just going to sit there and spend a few minutes just kind of thinking about what I am thankful for, because that's the whole point of Thanksgiving. I mean, I know some people want to do other things with it. I'm not that person. I'd rather spend my time being thankful. And so, top of the list, of course, is God, my salvation, how that whole thing changed my life around and put me on a path where I think more in terms of legacy building, future generations, investing in my family. And if you don't understand what that means, way back in one of my first Sunday sessions, I actually shared my testimony, and there was a time in my life where I did not expect to live to see past my mid-20s because of my temper, because I figured eventually I'd cross the wrong person and find myself dead in the street somewhere. And when God saved me, it changed that entire outlook and everything. And not everything changed at once, like at a snap of my finger, but things changed, and things are continuing to change, and I'm continuing to grow, as the Bible calls it, grow in grace. So that I'm very thankful for, because that has yielded fruit in my family, and it's going on. So that's good. That's great. That's everything, actually, because everything I've done since then has stemmed from that. What else? I'm thankful to my wife, who has stuck it out with me for over 20 years now. We got together, and I wasn't, and this by no means is a flex, I was in deep rebellion against God, angry, petulant, all kinds of things, whatever words you want to come up with. But I was in the process of divorcing my first wife and wasn't even complete yet. And through a roundabout means, met this woman. And I was so sure of everything in the midst of my anger and rebellion that I told her to wait for me for when this divorce cleared. And so, to my shock, she said she would. Problem was, things fell apart on her end, and I ended up moving her from Colorado to Kansas before the divorce was final, even though I was living on my own. It was just Kansas has a 6-month waiting period, and that's where I was at. It had already gone through the courts, everything like that. It was just waiting for that 6-month period to end before they would finalize it. I think I was like 2 months into that 6-month waiting period, and I really hadn't planned on moving in with her or her in with me until that was said and done, and we were, the kids were on summer vacation and things like that, but circumstances on her end didn't allow for that. So I ended up moving her from Colorado to Kansas with me. And you got to understand, the optics on all this for my kids was just awful, because they had been raised in a specific way, and I was violating everything that way, in that way that I had previously raised them. So it was terrible. But, and of course the chaos that comes from that, I thought I was well enough to start a relationship right away, but I was still very bitter, very angry, very short-tempered. Um, she was a very strong-headed woman, independent, had been raising 2 kids on her own because of deadbeat dads. And we got together, and it was exciting. It was exciting. And several times it looked like everything was just going to fall apart and all of it was for nothing. And we ended up on this life journey together where we moved from one place to another, still in the same state. I wasn't going to move away from my kids. I was doing everything I could to see my kids, but it wasn't enough. I was constantly money starved. Couldn't go to their functions, at least not all of them. Couldn't have weekends like I wanted. You know, just all kinds of chaos for all kinds of reasons. We finally moved to the place to where we're at now, and that moved me within just a couple of miles, and everything changed. After 5 years of running, God pricked my heart again, and you know, next thing I know, I'm on my knees once again, repenting of my rebellion and my sin, and asking Him to take the reins of my life once more. And that's when things again changed for the better. My relationship with my kids got stronger. You know, that wasn't automatic. That took a lot of work, a lot of vulnerability on my part, a lot of repenting on my part, a lot of trust earning on my part. But now our relationship is incredibly strong with my boys, and I'm thankful for that. And my wife, who was unsaved, she converted and gave her life to Jesus, and her and I decided that nothing was going to tear this marriage apart, not our brokenness, not our weakness, not our differences. And we've just kept growing and growing and growing together. And we decided early on that the marriage was more important and bigger, and we needed to set the example that even as people as chaotic and different as her and I are, that through Christ we could still make it work. And here we are 20 plus years later, still making it work, and the chaos is gone. So super thankful for that, super thankful for her. Thankful for my kids. As a father is concerned, I couldn't ask for 2 better sons. I literally couldn't. They took lessons from my life. They learned. They listened to my instruction in our, you know, throw together, like, I don't know, Bible study classes. I was working the 3rd shift, and I would work 3rd shift, come home in the mornings, and I would start working on a Bible study program for Sunday. By the time Sunday came around, you know, I wouldn't go to bed Friday morning when I got off work, sometimes Saturday morning, depending on what I was doing. And I would just stay up all weekend and get a couple of nights, get like sleep Saturday night, and then stay up Sunday, take a little bit of a nap Sunday, you know, after church before Sunday afternoon. And then after dinner, we would have these Bible study lessons, and they were crazy. There was sometimes they went 2-3 hours, but the kids loved it. You know, I would put it together, make sure to ask questions, make sure to involve them, make sure to wake up my youngest son when he fell asleep. Well, I'll be honest, that wasn't totally his fault. The room we were doing those studies in was like a natural tranquilizer. Everything was beige colored, including the light fixtures, so it was like very calming. But hey, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for the ability to, you know, ride this bike. This is great. So yeah, I absolutely love this. I love getting out. Love the fact it's still not snowing. Thankful for the jobs that I've had, because they've always been enough to provide for my family and I, including through the divorce, including through the child support, including through all of it. God has really provided everything I've needed pretty much when I've needed it. He's kept me in a neutral place, not impoverished and not super wealthy, but just in a nice, comfortable bubble. I'm thankful for that. Thankful for my friends, the new friends that I've got. I've got a video coming up about that. Thankful for these views. I know, a lot of people will just see flat, won't see anything worth seeing. But to me, I love it. And I've said that before. I think I made a pretty good point about it on the Indian Sold video about what I see and how I feel about it. And I think the last thing I will say is I'm thankful for you guys. Don't have a whole lot of subs, but again, if you've seen some of my recent videos, you'll understand why. But I do have a couple of new guys that are from Canada, and I just want to say, hey, thank you guys for checking me out and thinking it was worth subscribing to. I've talked to one especially, Moto Alley, in comments, and I enjoy those interactions. So I'm thankful to my subscribers, old and new. And with that, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate all of you. TD205, you've been with me for quite a while now. I appreciate you. And so, yeah, that's where I think I'll leave it. Started from the top down. God, family, the things I like to do, motorcycling in this case, and then all of you guys. With that, y'all have a good day.